Hello and welcome to Inderes TV. Today I'm interviewing the CEO of Incap, Otto Pukk. Hello, Otto, and congrats on the Q1 numbers that exceeded expectations and the strong profitability.
Yes, hello, Pia. Thank you very much for that. We were very pleased with the numbers. Of course, compared to the previous year, it's still lower, but we are now out of the hole as it looks like, and we are growing quarter to quarter as we expected. So I think that is a very positive comeback in that sense.
Yes, so that was probably the highlight of Q1. Were there any lowlights in there at all, or was it mostly positive?
Yeah, no, I think it was mostly positive in that sense, and I think what was very positive is also that we returned to growth in our Indian factory, and we have increased the number of employees there, even if that is not reported in the Q1 report, but as Antti mentioned in our webinar as well today, then we have an increase. So we're moving in the right direction, and I think that is other highlight. I think also is the growth on other customers, except our biggest one. We have 38% up on other customers, and that shows that we're doing the right thing. Even if our big customer is really big and it will take time to balance it out, we're doing the right thing in that sense. And also the M&A part in that sense, we have solid finance and we continue to work on that. But now you should ask questions, otherwise I take over this show.
Yeah. So you also already mentioned the revenue growing outside the largest customers. How much of that was organic, and how was that split between existing and new customers?
Yeah, now of course now I should have taken that number out here between the webinar and now, but I haven't. So I need to owe you that answer. But of course there is an impact from our Pennatronic acquisition in that, and then there is new customers. So it's a mix of both. But exactly the split I don't remember.
Sure. And the deliveries to the largest customer, they declined year on year, but turned up quarter on quarter. So how far away from the desired inventory level is the largest customer, and when could inventory ramp down end?
As I've said, we expect this operation to have an effect during the first half of this year. Still, then perhaps there might be some segments that it will continue a little bit longer. At the same time, we have segments that are already out of already. So of course it's not a fixed date or so. It's a little bit of moving target. But I think at least first half we will still see effects of it, and then I think also it's important to remember that when we will then bounce back into more normality, it won't be the number of volumes that we had when we ended up having too much inventory. It will be less than that. So the bounce back, but hopefully there we already are as balancing this out with new customer acquisitions, and as I mentioned before, we have an active M&A pipeline, and let's see. I'm quite positive when it comes to the future.
Sure. Can you give any comment on the sales outlook of the largest customer at this point?
No, I think it looks good, and it goes according to plan, as I said, and they keep on developing and growing their business, and I think we will come out of this stronger and together in that sense. So overall, they have never had any problems with their business. They had problem of overstocking or so, and as perhaps some of you guys remember that when we started this discussion with the destocking and the exercise, then they're still growing. They were still growing last year as well, but not growing as much as they expected, and that rendered into them taking in too much inventory. So overall, they are in a good spot in their business and continue to develop that.
Yes. How many people do Incap employ in India at the moment?
That I also need to get back to you on the exact number in that sense. But as Antti said, we have increased now a couple of hundred in the last quarter, and that is steadily increasing, and I think we were down to let me see here, but that is not India alone. So we were down to roughly 1,000 employees, something like that in India, and then that have increased now. But yeah, I can get you on our homepage probably. Then they will update our exact numbers, so there you can always have a look.
We can check it there. Yes. So many of the peers and competitors of Incap have reported that demand is a bit weaker in H1, but expecting an improvement in H2. How do you see the general market outlook for the EMS right now, and what are customers telling you about their near-term business outlook?
Yeah, no, we have seen it with some customers as well that demand is perhaps a little bit on the lower side. On the other hand, we have customers who have increased the demand. So overall, as we have been able to grow, I would say, other customer segments, and then our biggest customer now also is on a growth path in that sense. So there is, I think, long term, of course, it's still early in the year, and what will happen in the world. And so very much affects us EMS companies as well. So when it comes to different geopolitical situations and so around the globe, so it's still early. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I have any feeling that that there is any bigger problems or so in the market. I think also that if you look at, many people are talking about crisis and talking about extraordinarities, and so, but that's life. In the end of the day, that our world is always changing and constantly changing, and demand goes up and down, and that's part of the business. So the key thing is how do you swim through this and keep yourself afloat and even more in that sense. And I think that is much more interesting, that we will always have some kind of small ups and downs and backs and forwards.
Yeah, that's very true. And if there weren't any changes, then you'd probably eventually just wither out, because there would be no development as well.
Exactly. And we would be out of a job, us in managing companies, if there would be no problems or no challenges in that.
Very true. So Incap states that their revenue and EBIT will improve quarter on quarter this year, but then that they would be lower than last year. But that would mean that the Q&Q improvement needs to be quite small, not to contradict the other statement. So is there any particular reason for the cautious for the full year?
It's early in the year, and we have always been cautious. Of course, we are looking into if there is possibility to update the steering. We will do that immediately. But it's early in the year. It's still uncertain. Currently going to plan. We are growing quarter to quarter, and so. But we should remember also that the first half last year was exceptionally high volumes, where we ended up with this warehouse, and exactly where will the bounce back level be in the second half of this year when we go back to more normal production. It's still early. But I think stay tuned in that sense, and let's see how it develops.
Yes. You already talked a bit about M&As, and they are part of your strategy going forward as well. But how do you see the M&A market from a supply and demand perspective in the EMS sector right now?
I think if you look at that, in the autumn it was or second half last year in that sense, it was much slower than this now. Now you see more activity, more auction processes going up, and so I think the activity have increased now in the beginning of the year. So let's see how it plays out in that sense. If it's just so that some projects have been waiting over Christmas and New Year in that sense, or that there actually is an increase in the market in general. But it looks more activity now than it was perhaps second half last year.
Good. And finally, one question from our community. Is AI an opportunity or threat for Incap, and how could you benefit from the AI megatrend going forward?
No, I think AI, of course, is an opportunity as well, and we see AI get incorporated in different kind of production equipment, and we see AI as a possibility. Even I'm using AI. I'm using it on doing work instructions, and when we have been seeking new positions that are reported to me, then I have had AI doing the positions and so on. I think in this kind of administrative work, then AI will be a be a big tool in the future. And also, for example, we are testing now this Microsoft Copilot, and it's amazing, how it suggests already the different kind of answers to your emails, and it's almost scary that soon you're not needed at all if it can learn how to make the right choice as well. No, I think AI is here to stay, but I don't think we should over dramatize this either. It's not like in the Terminator movies that soon they will come and conquer the world, and it's still we're talking about different kind of tools that will help us. But I think in the society in general that we will see changes that if we look at some works where we're holding and navigating information, such as lawyers and doctors and these kind of works, those I think are up for a change. That I think in perhaps 30 years' times, nobody will go to a real doctor anymore or a human doctor. We will go to some kind of machine and plug us in, and then they will say what's wrong with us and then suggest something, because then that of course is much more safer from a quality perspective when you don't have too much subjective thought into it. So that I think is up for change. Some of the roles that we have in the society, but nothing to be afraid of yet.
Sure, sure. So positive Q1 and signs of improvement going forward. Thank you very much for your time and answers, Otto.
Thank you very much, Pia.